I mean, they knew this yesterday. And if you saw the statements from her campaign manager and from her, they were all saying, yeah, let's wait till tomorrow and see what happens. And obviously, they want to make sure that their voters turn out in California. I mean, they really want to win California, even though, I mean, this is the biggest state. It's the last major primary of the year. They want to go out on a high note.
An exclamation point.
Yeah, because they are really, the way the fight that Bernie Sanders has put up, I mean, and being unable to shake him, which everybody thought she would be able to do early on. If they could win California, that erases a lot of that and literally ends it on a high note. So, with this news coming out this morning, you have to wonder, will some people that were going to vote for her say, well, we got it won, so we don't need to go stand in line and all of that. So I think while, they're delighted and happy and all of that, if the news had come a little bit later, I think they probably would have liked it more.
There are reports now that President Obama reached out to Bernie Sanders over the weekend, perhaps to discuss a coming endorsement of his own, of Hillary Clinton. In speaking to everybody this morning, it was suggested that even the Bernie Sanders we saw yesterday, defiant to the very last, could be wholly different from the Bernie Sanders we might hear from in Vermont 24 hours from now. What to make now of somebody who has said, I will see you in Philadelphia, who has said, I want to impact the party platform, but right now, how open is that window still for an impact?
I have thought all along that Bernie Sanders would stay in this. He would never tell you this, and his people wouldn't say it this way. I've always thought he would stay in to find out if she's going to be indicted and what comes of this investigation into the email business. Now, he has said, and it couldn't have been more declarative, I will stay in till Philadelphia. But just as you say here, Josh, what they say before the election and what they say after they've slept on losing are two different things. I would guess that the president, and I have no inside information on this, but just talking to people, I would guess he told Senator Sanders, look, I'm going to be for her, and you need to be for her. And, if you called Bernie Sanders up and told him that, I mean, it might be one thing, but when the President of the United States calls you up and said, look, I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to go all out for her, that has a different impact. The President can deliver messages sometimes that other politicians can't. So that's bound to have had some impact, but we'll find out soon enough. I mean, I think we'll find out sooner rather than later if he's going to stick around. And right now, frankly, I don't know.
And look, the events of today demand that we discuss what we just did. And you do have the historic symbolism. You mentioned the email controversy. That is there. Again, a divisive Democratic campaign to this point. And yet, it is still all overshadowed to a degree by what has become increasingly thought by some to be perhaps the Rubicon that Donald Trump has crossed, that he cannot then cross back from. His comments about Judge Curiel regarding the Trump University lawsuit. Hillary Clinton lined him up in San Diego just last week, and now it appears that she can sit back to a degree and let the GOP do her work for her.
Well, I mean, I would be the last one to say that Donald Trump can't overcome this. I mean, here's somebody who said John McCain was a loser, and it seemed to have no impact whatsoever. I thought his campaign was over when he did that. I thought his campaign was over when he said what he said about Megyn Kelly. So we have seen him time and again defy the conventional wisdom, but this is different. Donald Trump owns a lot of golf courses. Well, guess what, folks? He's playing on a different golf course now. This is not the primary golf course. Donald Trump got more votes than any Republican, I guess, has ever gotten in a Republican primary, but that is 5% or less of the registered voters in the United States of America. This is a different place that he now finds himself in. And, when he said what he said about that judge of Mexican heritage, when he said what he said about Susana Martinez, the governor of New Mexico, the Hispanic population is the largest, fastest growing voting segment in this country. 30% of the people who vote this time around will not be white. 30%. And you've got to have that vote. So I think he has not helped himself in any way, shape, or form. And when you see leaders of the Republican Party coming out like they did yesterday, and some said, well, I may still vote for him, or I will still vote for him,
you know, he's been accused
they are
of
separating themselves.
Well, he's been accused of racism before, but then you hear somebody like Lindsey Graham, an anti-Trump to the very last, but he come out and say, love of country trumps any hatred of Hillary.
And compared him to Joe McCarthy.
Yeah, which is
which I don't think we've seen that.
Occupy.
We've seen that so far in this campaign. I mean, I think it's like the old Sherlock Holmes story. I think what we're seeing here is the dog that didn't bark that is important, and that is we've seen these people that have come out and criticized him. You're yet to see one prominent Republican leader, elected official, or donor who says, I defend him to the death on this. Nobody has spoken up for him. And when you have a party at the end of the primary season where people are trying to make excuses and separate themselves, I mean, these endorsements were tepid at best among establishment Republicans. And now seeing and hearing what we're hearing, I think he may this time have gone one bridge too far.
If he says it, there's a very good chance it's so. Bob Schieffer, as always, we appreciate the time.
Thank you very much, John.